Welcome to the China Cultural Center in Den Haag for a viewing of the exhibition Robert Van Gulik and Chinese Culture, Refined Enjoyment of Elegant Leisure. I am Marie-Anne and I'm the curator of this exhibition. I am also a granddaughter and a fan of Robert Van Gulik. The exhibition Refined Enjoyment of Elegant Leisure refers to the elegant pastimes of the Chinese literati and also bring to the fore Robert Van Gulik's work as a source of knowledge, inspiration, and creativity today. Now join us for the tour. Here we are at chapter 1, Van Gulik as an artist. We see here the illustrations which he made for his Judge Dee books. On the wall on the right and left side, you can see the original prints he used for his Judge Dee stories and the sources from Leiden University from his own book collection. These collections of ancient Chinese books were used as inspiration to make his own drawings. So we can see here an example of this, the transparent paper he used, and you'll see that he uses his own hybrid style, a mixture between East and West. Here we see an example of Van Gulik as a calligrapher. Robert Van Gulik practiced calligraphy every day of his life. And here you can see some examples of it, where he practiced it actually on the business cards of the Dutch embassy. A highlight of the exhibition is the calligraphy of Van Gulik, which is here, you can see it on view, and it's from the personal collection of the family. Van Gulik liked to name his libraries. At each diplomatic post, he would add his calligraphies to the libraries, and this one is particularly beautiful, and the name of it is The Pavilion for Watching the Transitoriness of Life. We can see underneath another very special object, which is on loan from Pauline Van Gulik, the daughter of Robert Van Gulik. They found this object together whilst they were walking on a Malaysian beach. Van Gulik noted it not only because it was so beautiful, but also because it had room to put his Chinese brushes. So it's very funny and interesting to see that Van Gulik saw the beauty in everyday things, but also saw a function for it, for practicing his Chinese arts. Here we are in front of a very beautiful object, which is a porcelain ink pad container. This was used for Van Gulik's seal carving activities, and it remained on his desk along with all his other utensils for Chinese art. Now let's move on to chapter 2, Van Gulik as a collector. Here we are at chapter 2 of the exhibition, Robert Van Gulik as a collector. Van Gulik was an avid collector of Chinese art, and he collected throughout his life and his postings throughout his travels. His collection of more than 500 paintings was the dearest to him. Van Gulik was a different type of collector. First of all, he was a practitioner himself, with deeper knowledge of Chinese art and painting. Second of all, what's interesting to note is that he befriended these great artists. Some of the examples are his friendship with Xu Beihong or with Fu Baoshi, which is reflected in his collection. Here we have some very fine examples of paintings which belong to Robert Van Gulik. These are in the collection of Master Fay, based in The Hague, who generously lent these paintings for the exhibition. Here we see a calligraphy by Ma Heng, the director of the Forbidden City, the Palace Museum. This was a gift given to Van Gulik at his wedding to Shui Shifang in Chunqing. It reads, "A happy marriage of a man of learning and a wife from a family of sages. A fine combination of zither and lute, a lucky pair of singing and following." Next, we can see some other examples, and we will also find that on all these paintings, of course, there is Van Gulik's seal, as well as an annotated card system where Van Gulik carefully noted the provenance of these paintings and also how he got them with his personal story. What's very interesting to see is that this collection is now spread around the world. We can see it currently at the Rijksmuseum, and there are some very fine pieces also at the Volkenkunde Museum in Leiden. There is also a permanent exhibition at the Three Gorges Museum in Chongqing. Now let's move to chapter 3 of the exhibition, Van Gulik as a writer, a diplomat, and a sinologist. In this section, we invite you to discover the Judge Dee stories, which made Van Gulik so famous. He wrote 17 stories of Judge Dee, the historical character of the Tang dynasty, Di Renjie. These books are translated in 29 languages, and still inspire readers around the world to immerse themselves in traditional China. We also have a cinema here, a mini cinema, which shows the film of Rob Rombout on the track of Robert Van Gulik. In this film, we see contemporary figures which feel inspired by Robert Van Gulik. Through this figure, we can recompose his persona. These are artists, diplomats, but also fans and musicians. At the same time, we invite you here to reflect and exchange more about the world of Robert Van Gulik and the Chinese literati. Finally, this is also a platform to exchange and learn more about the Chinese literati and Robert Van Gulik, paving a cultural dialogue between the Netherlands and China.